Hi, I'm Kelly Dark with Mindful Art Center in Livonia, Michigan, and I'm going to kind of go over one of the techniques that I use quite often for myself and with clients. And what I do is called, well, I call it daily visual journal, which is really creating a journal that is visual on a daily basis. And it's very relaxing. It's a very meditative process that I like to use, and clients also really enjoy working with it. So one of the techniques I use is an ink blot. I'm sure a lot of you already are familiar with making ink blots or looking at ink blots. Anyway, um, depending on the type of paint you use, if you use paint or ink, it's going to give you a different texture. And these are a few examples. I do my visual journal on 4x6 cards that I either make myself or purchase. Sometimes I can get index cards, like blank index cards, and even colored, different colors index cards that are 4x6. That size just really works well for me, especially if I'm trying to do this every day, because something larger can get a bit overwhelming since I don't have a ton of time each day to spend on this. But it is something that I feel is really important um, to my own self-care and also to the work that I do with clients. So I'm going to do a little ink blot. So here I have some pages that are prepared already. I use tag board, just manila tag board. It's a little bit thicker than paper. And I paint over it with gesso, so it gives it a really nice surface to work on. And it, again, I mean, it makes it a little bit stiffer, and it's also, if you're going to use paint on it, it's not going to go through the paper. So it's a surface that you need. You need to prime it with something if you're going to use paint. Otherwise, pencil and pen is generally not an issue. But I'm going to use some paint. I'm using acrylic paint, any kind of craft paint from the store. First thing I'm going to do is fold my card in half so that I have a nice crease and I'm not going to have to line it up after I get the paint on it. Right. So I take this, drop a little bit of paint randomly. So part of this is the element of chance, which I really like. It's fun to use with clients who are a bit perfectionist because there is no right or wrong way to do this. You're not going to be able to get a perfect um, image or something that you necessarily plan out. So it's a lot of fun to experiment with it and see how you can control it, and also how you are with the chance part of it. So sometimes it turns out they look like something interesting. These other examples I added a little bit of white with the color. So as I folded it back up and rubbed the top of it, the colors blended together, which I really like how that looks. And because I use this acrylic paint, it creates all these lines. They kind of look like veins. I think it's kind of cool. Anyway, after you have something done and you can set it aside to dry, you can also paint over it. Even though this is with gesso, uh, watercolor still works really well over it. So if I were to just experiment, which is also a lot of fun, right? That's one thing I love about art therapy, really, is the experimental nature of it and the playfulness of it, because so many times, I'll have clients who feel, oh, I'm not creative, I can't draw, I can't do that. And it's so much about the process. It's so much about just, playing around with the materials and having fun with it and seeing what happens. Which, we can relate that to our everyday life. We can't control everything. So being mindful of what we can control and what we can't, and how do we deal with that. How do we deal with things that are unexpected or not as we would have hoped? Sometimes even if it doesn't turn out the way you expected it to, it's still pretty cool. So it's a lot of fun. Give it a try. If you do, I would love to know, and let me know. I mean, I would love to see images of what you have, and if you try any type of daily visual journal, yeah, let me know. Thanks. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.